Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my privilege to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe, Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, to deliver the keynote address. Prime Minister.
Mr. Dharman Shammugaratnam, Deputy Prime Minister and Coordinating Minister for Economic and Social Policies, Singapore, Ambassador Gopinath Pillai, Chairman, Institute of South Asian Studies, National University of Singapore, distinguished delegates and friends. Let me thank you at the outset for inviting me to this, the third South Asian Diaspora Convention, hosted by the Institute of South Asian Studies in Singapore. This event underscores the strategic position to which Singapore has evolved in the last 51 years as a key intersection between the East and the West. That we South Asians are congregating for this event in a Southeast Asian nation is a testimony to Singapore's vision and the skill in hosting these events. South Asian relations with this region go a long way back. The ancient historical chronicles record that our people first came to Swarnabhumi 25 centuries ago. They were adventurers, sailors, traders, emissaries of Emperor Asoka, astrologers, priests, and the like. The best known is Kaundinya, an Indian Brahmin who founded the kingdom of Funan. This kingdom was connected to the ancient Pallava kingdom of South India. For centuries, the alliance between the Pallavas and the Sri Lankan kingdom dominated shipping in the Bay of Bengal. South Asia was the pinnacle of progress in the ancient world. Today, with a population of 1.7 billion and an impressive growth rate that the World Bank calls the highest in the world, South Asia is very much the place to be in. Supported by low prices and high domestic demand, growth rates are currently high in South Asia. However, there are limitations to domestic-based growth, especially for the smaller South Asian economies. South Asian businesses need to respond to the new deregulation sweeping global trade, taxation, financial management, and business. In order to sustain medium and long-term growth, South Asian governments must focus on further opening the national economies and promoting foreign trade and investments. This requires a structured and consistent reform agenda, macroeconomic stability, free trade, decrease in deficits, improving the ease of doing business, and an increase in public infrastructure investment across the region from 3.5% of the GDP to 7.5%. My country, Sri Lanka, which has been ranked the highest in economic freedom in the region by the Heritage Foundation, pioneered economic liberalization in South Asia. Yet today, in Sri Lanka, we are also forging a fresh political initiative, the politics of convergence to consolidate democracy. In 2015, the people of Sri Lanka voted twice for a national unity government that assured the country prosperity and stability, eschewing myopic political and economic policies that lack the long-term focus. On January 8th last year, the voters elected Maithripala Sirisena as president to execute this mandate. This was further strengthened in August after the parliamentary elections, when we formed a national government consisting of the two main political parties. The national government has resulted in a political stability and bipartisan agreement to formulate consistent and stable economic policies, which then will be accepted by all for the long term. This, in turn, has set in motion long overdue, smart and sustainable economic reforms to harness the country's tremendous potential. These include reducing the budget deficit from 5.4 of the GDP this year to 3.5 by 2020, introducing a new Foreign Exchange Act to remove the restrictions on current account and to have reserve powers in respect of the capital account. Reforming the tax law to favor simplicity and cut red tape for business enterprises, thereby offering a better environment for business. A new set of incentives for investments is being formulated in consultation with the IMF and the World Bank. The sale of non-strategic ventures such as the Colombo Hilton, Lanka Hospitals, Hyatt Regency Hotel, amongst others, will herald investment opportunities. Sri Lankan Airlines, with its diverse network of routes, is a mature airline, is up for investment collaboration. With 13 years of compulsory education, Sri Lanka has scored high in Human Development Index in the region for 2 decades. The regional average for youth literacy was 83%, but Sri Lanka is over 98% as confirmed by the World Bank. We recognize that poor infrastructure, obsolete policies, and unfavorable business environment constrain the ability to do business across borders and act as a drag on competitiveness in South Asia. In response, Sri Lanka has launched an ambitious program of physical infrastructure development to overhaul the sea, air, road transportation, the energy sector, and telecommunications, so as to form the backbone of the country. These efforts are intended to support government initiatives to develop Sri Lanka as a regional hub in finance, logistics, and business. Allow me to highlight our key sectors of interest: manufacturing and services. The policies for manufacturing and services sector will be based on Sri Lanka becoming a platform for comprehensive value addition and joining the global value chain. We will focus on the industrial Internet of Things, new business models, innovations, skills development for the job market, the provision of industrial infrastructure, and the promotion, again I say, the promotion of private investment, both local and foreign. The digital economy. Sri Lanka is ranked among the top 50 global outsourcing destinations by A.T. Kearney, while Colombo is ranked among the top 20 emerging cities by Global Services magazine. Our new policies seek to improve the network infrastructure, the skills shortage, and the digital divide across the provinces. We will ensure that ICT for all is available in all parts of the country. Tourism. Sri Lanka's potential for tourism has not been fully utilized. A new program will include infrastructure for high-value tourism and the further development of the hill country. The opening of eastern beaches and offshore projects such as yachting, cruises stretching from uninhabited islands in the north to the historic Galle city in the south. Infrastructure. The government has launched a large-scale economic infrastructure project, the Kandy-Colombo-Hambantota corridor, that will reshape the country's urban landscape with 2 airports and 2 seaports. This corridor will amalgamate 5 separate projects: the Kandy Mega Development Project, the Wayambo, the Northwestern Industrial and Tourist Development Project, the Western Megapolis, the Southern Tourist and Industrial Project, and 5, the Hambantota Economic Development Project to be implemented over 15 years. The US $40 billion Western Megapolis project aims to develop the Western Province as a megapolis with metropolitan areas on a global scale. The Western Megapolis, which will have an estimated population of 8.5 million by 2025, will establish Colombo as a business and financial hub to attract foreign investors to set up operations in Sri Lanka. The Colombo port will be modernized with up-to-date infrastructure to accommodate triple E-class mega ships. The Katunayake International Airport will be further expanded. This will also include a logistic corridor, industrial clusters, a science and technology city, and the financial city project involving the reclamation of 269 hectares of land from the sea, which will also be in this area. The proposed financial city is ideal to fill the vacuum for a financial city along the trading routes between Singapore and Dubai. The financial city will function as a special jurisdiction area with its own economic and commercial laws to facilitate operations of global multinational corporations and grow as a business hub. The US $10 billion Hambantota economic project located in southern Sri Lanka will invite investments to build oil refineries, power generation plants, dockyards, and industrial zones. We have already started discussions with a number of Chinese investors. The other initiatives are focusing on providing logistics support through better roads connectivity. Indeed, the expressways connecting the central, western, and the southern province of the country will play a pivotal role in the cross-border connectivity linking Sri Lanka's two principal seaports. A third port development is planned for Trincomalee in the East Coast. The Sri Lanka government has entered into agreements with Subana Jurong Private Limited to prepare the master plan for Trincomalee based on shipping, manufacturing, and tourism. The area of 175 kilometers to the south of Trincomalee will also be developed as high-end tourist resorts. Trade. We recognize that small domestic markets are insufficient to sustain growth. Therefore, shift to greater export orientation is required to achieve growth of 8%. Hence, our trade policies will focus on gaining access for Sri Lankan exports. We have already made the application to the European Union to regain the GSP Plus facility for tariff relief. This facility will give Sri Lanka a competitive edge in accessing the single European market, or what is left of it. We are hopeful of negotiating this agreement by 2017, which will be a tremendous boost for Sri Lanka's manufacturing, services, and agricultural products. We are also negotiating a free trade agreement with China under the One Belt, One Road initiative. This is necessary in order to make a success of the Chinese investments in the Hambantota economic project and the proposed financial city. Many are worried as to the agreements that we have with China. What will happen when the maritime Silk Road comes to Sri Lanka? I said this is the second time. The first time it came, it ended in Sri Lanka, and the Arabs came thereafter, and the Venetians to take the goods from there back into Europe. So we've had experiences earlier, and we have had discussions, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Development Strategy, myself, and I tell you that it's a complete economic project what we are doing, and it will be open to anyone who's interested to come and invest in Sri Lanka. In addition, Sri Lanka's long-standing economic cooperation with Japan will help us to further modernize our economy. These include planning the Kandy Mega Development Project as well as science and technology cooperation. There are many other projects which have been discussed, and I have no doubt will be implemented in the coming year. We are concerned that the economic asymmetry between Sri Lanka and India is going to increase in the future as the latter emerges as a major global player in the increasingly multipolar world. The India-Sri Lanka FTA between the two countries will be further expanded and deepened to go beyond trading in goods to cover trade in services, investments, and technology cooperation. The proposed ETCA will also remove all barriers to trade. We expect the ETCA to be signed by the end of the year. The complementary economic developments in South India and Sri Lanka will be enhanced by the ETCA, which will provide an impetus to the existing synergies. As you are aware, South India is home to 6 key ports in India: Chennai Port, Tuticorin Port in Tamil Nadu, Visakhapatnam Port in Andhra, the New Mangalore Port in Karnataka, the Cochin Port in Kerala. A significant share of Sri Lankan exports enter into India through the ports, such as Chennai, located in southern India, and a significant share of the cargo are transshipped to ports located in southern India. The ETCA will provide the opportunity to strengthen cooperation between the two port systems. So that will be 9 ports finally, 6 in India, 3 in Sri Lanka, paving the way for an interrelated and integrated port system between the two countries. With the proximate location of industrial zones and logistics and financial services, along with the strategic maritime corridor, Sri Lanka and South India provides attractive investment opportunities for a range of activities in industry, information technology, logistics, and tourism. India's 5 southern states, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Telangana, have a population of 250 million people and a combined GDP of nearly $450 billion. With the addition of Sri Lanka's US $80 billion GDP, this sub-region will have a US $500 billion economy, similar to Sweden. The ETCA has the potential to promote a rapid growth of this US $500 billion sub-regional economy. Finally, we are also negotiating a free trade agreement with Singapore. As you know, Singapore has a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with India. On one hand, Sri Lanka's close proximity to the fast-growing southern Indian states offers a strategic economic advantage to the country. On the other, the sub-region, especially India, also stands to benefit immensely from Sri Lanka's uniquely positioned geostrategic advantage. Its location at the crossroad of major shipping routes connecting South Asia, the Far East, and the Pacific with Europe and the Americas. Maximizing on these factors will transform Sri Lanka into a geo-economic center of South Asia, dynamically and synergistically engage with the rest of the region. By next year, the Singapore-India SEPA, the Indo-Lanka ETCA, and the Sri Lanka-Singapore FTA will enable the southern sub-region of South Asia and Singapore to establish tripartite arrangements for trade and investments. Such a bold agreement possesses the potential to enhance economic cooperation between our 3 countries that will also have a positive impact on the Bay of Bengal trade. At the other end, Singapore too will expand its importance and capacity for business networking in the region. It's a vision of convergence that is inextricably interwoven with the future of South Asia as a whole. It is up to us then to be imaginative and bold in providing the political leadership to maximize on the potential opportunities of such a convergence. Thank you.